Everyone, I'm Joe Simone, the elephant in the room. Today we're going to be talking about a few things. One, why riots are domestic terrorism. Two, more coronavirus garbage because apparently people still care about that for some reason. And then finally, why school board elections are actually kind of important even though they sound super boring. But y'all know how this goes. First things first. Gotta, pour a little drink. Get a little bourbon going on. It's been a long day. Let me tell you. It's only Monday. We're just getting started. We are just getting started. Alright. Nothing a little bourbon can't help though. Alright, so where were we? Alright, first off, we're going to be talking about the riots. So, why do I think the riots should be considered domestic terrorism? Well, because it exactly fits the definition of domestic terrorism, which is the committing of terrorist acts in the perpetrator's own country against their fellow citizens. What more do you need? That's the definition. That's exactly what the rioters are doing. The definition doesn't mention any exceptions for racial equality or police brutality or because a meth head was pinned to the ground while overdosing on fentanyl. They are burning businesses and stealing from stores in their own country. Domestic terrorism. What is wrong is us adults aren't doing anything about it. So now we have a 17-year-old showing us what we should have been doing as soon as this garbage started happening. And if you're like me and you're former military or you're currently in the military, we took an oath to defend the Constitution from foreign and domestic threats. Guys, they meet the definition for a domestic threat, I'm pretty sure. So how much longer are we going to let this happen? That's the question. The government isn't doing anything about it. So at some point, we are going to have to do something about it. And it's not going to be pretty. I'll tell you, I've spoken with a lot of my military friends, people who are currently in the military and people who have been out of the military for some time, and more than a few people are willing to do what needs to be done to take our cities back. If the government's not going to do a thing about it, then we will. And that's just, it's gonna happen, it's inevitable. It's already starting to happen. Kyle Rittenhouse was not the only one out there when he killed those two people. A previous videos show him with a group of quite a few guys all together, kitted up, ready to go with their AR-15s, ready to take care of business. So it's already starting. He's just really the only one that got caught for some reason. All right, next topic, coronavirus. Gosh, when is this going to go away? I'm so sick of talking about coronavirus. I seriously thought we were going to be done talking about this 5 months ago. I cannot believe it still persisted. All right. Anyways, as of today, there are just over 6 million infections in the US and only 183,000 deaths. That's barely 3% of people, and that's why they're counting everyone who died from the virus with it in their system, meaning actual death rate is probably less than 1%. Now, that's just using common sense, okay, so don't quote me on that. But please, tell me why I have to wear a mask when I go to a restaurant and then walk 8 feet to a table just to take it off. How in the world does that make any sense? It's not about it only being a minor inconvenience anymore. It's about it being a major breakdown in common sense. Does anyone out there actually think that this is in some way helping? Please tell me. Maybe I'm wrong. I am so sick of all these stupid rules, though. They aren't helping anybody. I see people in their cars wearing masks. Come on. If you're one of those people that wears a mask while you're driving in your car by yourself, you're nuts. You are absolutely nuts. God, and I feel sorry for you. You are living your life in fear, okay? Guess what? You're gonna die. I'm gonna die. I could die driving my car to work tomorrow. Happens all the time. So why live our lives in such fear of a virus that kills less than 1%? Come on, we got way too many other things to worry about. Way too many other things, okay? All right, but here's the other thing. The CDC says that the virus doesn't spread from surfaces very easily. So why are you obsessively using the hand sanitizer? The CDC says that when someone is infected, it's still very hard to transmit the virus to another human being. It has to be a very strong strain, apparently, for you to actually transmit it to another human being. Now, 5 days ago, the CDC said, if you do not show symptoms of COVID-19, you do not need to be tested. Yet so many businesses are still requiring the testing for their employees. Why? The CDC says you don't need to. And isn't that what everybody wanted to go by before? But now that it doesn't meet your definition of what should be done, you're like, oh, no, I'm not going to go by that. Well, that's your choice. But I shouldn't have to follow any of this stuff either then, okay? Now, Democrats are denouncing the CDC guidelines as political propaganda. That's insane. Where are they getting their info from then? Are they just doing their own backyard science experiments for their elderly parents and young children? Where are they getting their science from? If they're not listening to the CDC or the WHO or anybody, then where are they getting their information from? That coronavirus is still so bad. The CDC is backing off. They are trying to tell us, hey, you know what? Testing isn't quite so important as we thought it was in the beginning. And if anything, it's probably helping to spread the virus even more, right? Because you've got tons of people who aren't infected at all going to these sites to be tested and then probably contracting the virus. That doesn't really kill anybody, by the way. Shoot, I've probably had coronavirus 3 times already, and I just didn't even know. All right. Finally, let's talk about why the school board elections are actually really important. A lot of what's going on right now can be traced directly back to what kids are being taught in school. We all know that for the past 30 years, the left has been in charge of education in this country. That's a fact. Which this explains how colleges are able to brainwash students so easily to adopt a liberal agenda so wholeheartedly. If you are a conservative in school, you cannot voice your opinion. If you do, you are ridiculed by not only classmates, but also by professors and teachers. Some professors are even teaching students how to riot. This is everywhere. We all know that this has been going on. We all see the posts, teachers giving out flyers and whatnot on how to riot properly. Because, I mean, hey, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right, right? Thanks, liberals. Thanks for that. But I didn't know it was so complicated that you actually needed to teach anything about it. I mean, don't you just pick up a brick, throw it through the window, and go into the store and grab whatever you want because you're entitled to it? I mean, why does that need a flyer? It's so self-explanatory. Ridiculous. So this is why school board elections are so important. I personally never cared about school board elections because it sounds boring and I don't have kids, quite honestly. But if we care about the future of this country, we must vote the Democrat and liberal school board members out. That's it, guys. That's what we have to do. We have to vote out the liberal and Democrat school board members. We have to make it to where there are no politics in the classroom. Hey, if religion can't be allowed in the classroom, fine. As long as it's all religions that can't be allowed in the classroom. If politics can't be allowed in the classroom, fine. As long as it's all politics that can't be allowed in the classroom. Because right now, it seems a little bit one-sided. It seems like if you're a Republican, you have to keep your mouth shut. But if you're a Democrat or liberal, you get the lay of the land. You can say whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Oh, a kid's wearing a MAGA hat? Well, you knocked it off his head? Well, you felt unsafe though, right? I mean, that hat that said, "Make America Great Again," made you feel unsafe. Well, you had every right to hit it off his head and then punch him in the nose and then kick him in the stomach while he was on the ground. All right. Now for today's segment of Educate Yourself. We all know liberals love that term, and I love it too. All right, so on this segment, I'm going to give you a word, and then I'm going to read the liberal definition, followed by the actual definition. All right, today's word is reparations. All right, here's the liberal definition, which can be found on Wikipedia. Such a great source of information, right? All right, reparations, according to liberals, is the idea that some form of compensatory payment needs to be made to the American descendants of slaves. The American descendants of slaves, not the British ones, not the Spanish ones, not the French ones, not the Canadian ones. I don't know, did Canada have slaves? I don't really know. Just the American ones. All right. What's the real definition? According to the Oxford Dictionary, the making of amends for a wrong one has done by paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. All right. Like if I were to steal someone's car and then crash it and then wreck the car, I would be ordered to pay that individual reparations because I destroyed their property, right? I destroyed that person's property. But I wouldn't have to say that person died somehow. I wouldn't then pay their kids, or my kids wouldn't pay their kids, or my great-grandkids wouldn't pay their great-grandkids. That makes zero sense whatsoever. No one alive today was ever a slave, so why would they receive reparations? Makes no sense. Also, if we are going to give reparations, who should pay for it? Should it be the United States government? Should it be the African government? I mean, they were the ones actually kidnapping people on their own continent and then selling these people, not only to the United States, but also all over Europe, all over Britain, the United Kingdom, all over the Americas, yes, all over the world, not just here. But they were the ones kidnapping people and then selling them. So they were the root of it. Shouldn't they pay the reparations then? If anybody's owed reparations, which nobody is today. Now, if you were a slave way back in the 1800s, and then you were freed or something like that, would you deserve reparations? Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely say you deserve some form of reparations. I know some places gave them, 40 acres and a mule? That's pretty good. I mean, they probably deserved a little bit more than that, maybe some cash in the bank or something. But the United States government shouldn't be the one paying it. One, they didn't buy the slaves either. The U.S. government didn't buy the slaves, so why would they be the one paying the reparations? It was individuals that bought the slaves. It was companies that bought the slaves. So it makes no sense. They're not getting a dime out of me, I'll tell you that right now. All right, let's see who all's watching today. Oh, we got quite a few people watching. What's up, everybody? It's good to see you guys. Oh, Mikey, what's up, Mikey? Parker, Jose, Derek, what's up, man? Shell, yeah. Good to see you. Sylvia. Hey, thanks for dinner, Sylvia. Sylvia's one of my next door neighbors. Her and Jerry. Hey, it's delicious meatloaf. Thanks so much for bringing that over. So good. JC. All right. Now, in conclusion, people who riot are domestic terrorists. The left is just winging it with their coronavirus mandates and no longer agree with CDC guidelines. They've gone rogue. If we care about the future of this country, we must vote the Democrat and liberal school board members out. Thanks, everyone. This has been another episode of The Elephant in the Room. Have a great day.